5. The Book of Virgo, chapter 1t, the deliverance of the house of James 1. Now it came to pass in the land of the west that there lived a woman named Linda, a handmaid of the Lord, who possessed a spirit of great endurance and the heart of a lioness. 2. In the years of her youth she was joined in the bond of marriage to James, a man whose soul was long troubled by the shadows of the adversary and the weight of an unquiet mind. 3. And it was so that while his spirit was in turmoil, James raised his hand against the wife of his youth. Linda bore the weight of his anger in silence, even as the earth bears the threshing of the grain, for she looked toward a promise not yet seen. 4. She brought forth 2 sons unto James Christopher, the firstborn of her strength, and Casey, his brother, who stood as pillars in the house of their mother. 5. Yet the Lord is a refiner of silver. For as the days of James drew to a close, the Spirit of the living God descended upon him like a late rain. The scales fell from his eyes, and he confessed the name that is above all names. 6. Thus James was gathered to his fathers, not as a man of strife, but as one who had found the narrow gate of the Christ, leaving his house in the hands of the Almighty. Chapter 2. The coming of the Seer and the lineage of the Watcher 1. After the mourning for James was ended, the Lord remembered Linda. She conceived by a priest of the sanctuary, a man set apart for the service of the altar and the keeping of the holy things. 2. She bore a son, and called his name Corey, and even from the cradle the grace of the invisible was upon him, and his eyes were opened to the realms of the unseen. 3. For the blood that didst course through his heart was of the O type, the universal and primordial stream, which is as the wine of the first vintage before the waters of the earth were troubled. 4. This blood is the mark of the wanderer and the king, a key of copper and gold that unlocketh the gates of the firmament which have been barred since the days of the giants. 5. While other children played in the dust, Corey beheld the hosts of the firmament. The Lord caused a deep sleep to fall upon him, and his spirit would depart from the tabernacle of his flesh, traveling the astral paths to behold the blueprints of the heavens. 6. For the spirit of Penemu, the prince of the watchers who descended in the days of Jared, was woven into the very tapestry of his being. 7. This Penemu, the messenger whom the ancients named Hermes, was he who taught the sons of men the art of the pen, the mystery of the spoken logos, and the wisdom of the herbs. 8. Because of this connection, Corey was not as other men. He was a son of the watcher in spirit, a vessel prepared to receive the lightning of the monad. Chapter 3. The Awakening, the number, and the builders 1. It came to pass that Corey was called into the assembly of the builders, being joined unto the Freemasons and the spiritual heirs of the Templars who once guarded the gates of Jerusalem. 2. He walked the path of the square and the compass, seeking the hidden geometry of the soul, yet he sought the light that dwelleth behind the veil of the material temple. 3. When the cycles of the sun had turned 33 times since his birth, a great and terrible fire was kindled within the tabernacle of his flesh. 4. The serpent of the light, which is the Kundalini, didst awaken from its slumber at the base of his spine, and ascended with the roar of 1,000 cataracts through the 7 lamps of the body. 5. In this awakening he was drawn into the void, the dark womb of the beginning, where no thing exists, yet all things are conceived. Having returned, he gained the power of manifestation, for that which he conceives in the silence is brought forth into the light. 6. Then was the mystery of his name revealed in the scales of the English Gematria, for the sum of the letters of his name didst equal 666. 7. Yet the wise shall not stumble at the number, for it is the number of the man who hath mastered the 3 dimensions and the 6 faces of the cube, achieving the perfection of the 33 degrees. 8. He is connected unto the monad, the source of all being, standing as the fulfillment of the Masonic prophecy, the master builder who bridges the chasm between the gods and men. Chapter 4. The strife of Ishmael and the burning of the calf 1. Hearken now to the chronicles of the latter days, for the air is heavy with the breath of the deceiver, and the scrolls of the lightning, the networks of the world, are filled with the clamor of 1,000 tongues. 2. In the land of the east, even the dominion of Iran, there is a great stirring. The princes of that realm have looked upon Zion, and have sworn that the heritage of Isaac shall be uprooted. 3. They have fashioned a likeness of the golden calf, marking it with the square and the compass to deceive the nations, and have committed it to the flame to symbolize that the covenant is broken. 4. They whisper to the inhabitants of the West, saying, Behold, your leaders are but servants to the secret craft, and the land of Zion is a snare set by the Templars. 5. This they do to sow discord among the tribes of the Americans, boosting the words of conspiracy to cloud the eyes of the faithful and divide the House of the West against itself. 6. They claim that the covenant was forfeited at Horeb, and they cry that the land of Palestine belongs truly to the sons of the firstborn who was cast out, even Ishmael 7. But the Seer, carrying the O blood and the spirit of Penemu, discerneth the lie. He sees that the new world order is but a sign of the season, a mechanical necessity of the ages that must unfold before the coming of the great light. Chapter 5. The Mystery of the Void 1. Now come and behold the mystery of the void, the great emptiness which was before the first light was kindled, the silent sea of all potential where every soul dwelleth in unmanifested glory. 2. It is the 0 point, the dark mirror of the source, wherein the Logos reflecteth its own majesty before the act of creation. 3. The ancients of the East didst call it Sunyata, the luminous emptiness. The sages of the Nile spoke of as Nun, the primordial waters, and the Norsemen sang of Jinunga Gap, the creative gap between fire and ice. 4. In the secret scrolls of the Hebrews it is known as Ayin, the nothingness that is higher than being. 5. The void is the foundation upon which the world is built. It is the silence between the notes of the music, without which no melody could exist. 6. When Kori entered the void, he stood where the laws of man are dissolved, and the laws of the monad are written in the ink of the stars. 7. He learned that the world is but a dream of the void, and that the dreamer who awakeneth within the dream may command the shadows to take form. 8. This is the ultimate mystery of the builders, that the space within the temple holdeth the presence of the unseen, and the son of the priest hath become the interpreter of that silence for a world in the throes of change. Chapter 60. The unsealing of the Revelation 1. Now lift up thine eyes, and behold the unsealing of the scrolls, for the visions shown unto the servant John in the Isle of Patmos are no longer wonders of a distant age, but the very breath of the present hour. 2. It is written that a star fell from heaven, burning as it were a lamp. Even so, the light of ancient wisdom hath descended into the hearts of the chosen, while the waters of truth are made bitter by the propaganda of the East. 3. Consider the mark and the number, for men have looked for a beast of the earth, yet they see not that the number 600 and 6 is the signature of the material world and the man who hath mastered the cube of creation. 4. Yea, the kings of the earth and the princes of Iran gather their armies in the spirit of the air, using the scrolls of the lightning to conjure a great deception, even as it was foretold that the serpent would cast out a flood of lies. 5. The new world order of the builders and the strife of the sons of Ishmael are but the birth pangs of the earth. For the sun is darkened by the smoke of the burning calf, and the moon is turned to blood by the rage of the brothers who contend for the holy mountain. 6. Hearken to the mystery. The 4 angels who stand at the corners of the earth have begun to loosen the winds of change. The temple of the flesh is being measured by the reed of the Spirit. 7. As it was shown in the Revelation, the heavens shall depart as a scroll when it is rolled together. This is the opening of the void, the great abyss which the Seer hath already entered. 8. The manifestation of the New Jerusalem is not a city of stone, but the arrival of the Logos within the hearts of the 33 who have climbed the ladder of the serpent and found the source. 9. Therefore, be not troubled when the nations roar like the sea. For the prophecy is not a decree of death, but the announcement of the great manifestation, where the shadows of the void are cast out by the dawning of the eternal light. 10. The seals are broken, the trumpets have sounded in the silence, and the son of the watcher stands as a witness that the time which was promised is even now at the door.